Hi everybody, welcome to another video. This one's comparing the ANI GF3 and the Sata 4400B. Just a quick run through for people that are not familiar with the channel, because we get quite a few new viewers and subscribers, etc., which I thank you all for. I've got a couple of tanks that I'm just doing various experiments with, really, and it's a good way of comparing guns and various products, because everything's the same bar the gun or the product. You know, temperature's the same, the quality of the air is the same, the environment's the same, the paint is the same, the temperatures, everything's the same. Even the tank, well, obviously it's not the same tank, but it is the same tank, two tanks the same, so everything's the same. So the idea is that, you know, the only difference will be the gun, in theory. So that's the idea behind it. So as I say, ANI GF3 mini spray gun. Now I've compared this to the ANI R160 mini spray gun, which is obviously at the same stable. One's 3 times the price of the other. So I thought I would take it to its logical extreme, and this time try it for Clearcoat, which I think is a better judge of the quality of a gun. I know you get separate guns normally for clear and for tips and cap combinations for clear and for base coat, but I find that doing clear coat with a gun is a good test of it. So I thought, well, I'd put it up against the Sata, which is the most expensive minigun you'll get. In fact, the Vilbis are just bringing out a DV1S, which is about 380 GB pounds, about 500 and something US dollars. So it won't be the dearest for long, but at the moment it is more or less the most expensive, certainly the most expensive one I've got. So I thought it was a good test, you know, against each other. And I mean, you can see the results at the end. I've done a higher quality video at the end, but this is more about the experiences with the two. Now the GF3 I really like. It's a very cheap gun, feels good in the hand. It's the same body more or less as the R160, but it's just not finished so well, and certainly the tip's different, cap's different, etc. So it's not like just a slightly cheaper gun. It is quite a different gun, but the feel in the hand is exactly the same, and it just feels so nice. My hands are quite big, as I've said before, and it just feels so nice in the hand. The Sata, as you'll see here, you see my thumb sticking out. Well, I'm learning what I call the Sata grip, which is to try and keep that thumb out the way of that wheel, that small wheel which changes the fan adjustment. You keep hitting it, especially with nitrile gloves on, because they're a bit grippy and the wheel's very easy to turn. As I've said before, it's my main criticism of this gun. You keep changing the output, the size of the fan, which is really annoying and you know, quite detrimental sometimes to what you're doing. So you'll see I keeping my thumb out the way, and I seem to have got on okay with this gun by doing that, but it does feel a bit awkward. But anyway, you know, it's by the by. Some people it'll fit, some people it won't, I guess, but we're talking about the quality at the end of the day. Now I fully expect one to outlast the other one, well, not 100 times, but probably 50 times. You know, the Sata is going to last longer, I'm sure it is. It's much better made. I don't personally think it's the best made, but it's very well made. There's no doubt about that. If I was to pick the best minigun as far as being well made goes, I'd say the LPH80, but I've actually had a problem with my LPH80, which I'll go into another time, of air bypassing through it, which I was a bit disappointed about. But you know, certainly that's what I would say build wise, the LPH80 is probably the best. But back to these two guns anyway, before I get carried away. You'll see at the end of it, I mean, the GF3 gives such a good account of itself. The finish isn't as good as the Sata, but it nearly is. Now this is a cheap clear coat, so the gun's not being helped at all by this. On some other videos I've done a clear coat comparison between a cheaper one and a dearer one, and it is definitely easier to spray. The more you pay for your clear, the easier it is to spray, because it just runs out better. You can load it more without getting runs, you can load it more without getting solvent pop, it's just better. So this is a harder test for, well, both of these guns, but particularly the GF3. But you can see the pattern, the shape of the pattern. It's got a bit of a curve to it, which is by the by, really. It shouldn't have. It should be like a straight fan pattern, but it's got a slight curve to it, but it's even, which is what you want, really. You don't want anything more at the top or the bottom or in the center or whatever. It just nice and even gives you a good finish normally. And the Sata, obviously, you wouldn't expect a problem with the Sata. It gives you just an excellent fan. When I did a back-to-back test of fan patterns, the Sata was by far the biggest fan pattern. But having said that, when you look at this test, the Sata doesn't really go through the tank quicker. You know, it doesn't allow you to do the tank any quicker. So the fluid output's probably similar on both. If you look back at the video, I don't think there's much difference between the two as far as the speed you can work. They both put out a pretty good amount for Clearcoat. This is a high solids clear, and it's actually a really cold, well, I say cold day, it's about 8 degrees Celsius, about 46 Fahrenheit. So I'm having to heat the work up just before I lay the next coat of clear on there. When you see the video at the end, there's a couple of small specks in it, but you're going to get that, unfortunately, in this environment. I'm walking around with the tanks when they're wet, and you shouldn't really. You should just spray them and leave them. But it's the only way I could do it at the same time, if that makes sense, so that, you know, I didn't feel that it was getting colder in the afternoon or whatever, and, you know, it wouldn't be a fair test. So that was the idea of it. As I say, I think there is a slightly better finish with the Sata, but it's very, very hard to tell. It's certainly hard to catch on camera, and if you weren't a painter, you really wouldn't know. But I mean, here's the two at the end. This is the Sata. The next one is obviously the GF3, and you know, a cracking minigun for something that's 10 times cheaper. You know, there's about 0.5% difference, I suppose, in the finish. It's a really capable gun. Thoroughly recommend it. If you've got the money, buy the Sata. Good gun, never let you down. Keep your thumb out the way and you'll be good to go, I guess. Well, anyway, it's only a short video, guys, but I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll keep watching some more. All right, thanks a lot. Cheers for watching. Bye bye.